Which do you know how much a Chinese factory make for a pair of Nike shoes? $10, which sells 150 on the shelf. A Stanley Cup, $50. The factory gets $1. $1. But when they sell millions of them, that's millions of dollars. And all surplus. That's where the surplus comes from. But for every $1 the factory made, somebody in America is making $49. Who is benefit from the globalization? And think about the pollution the factory has to cause in the local area.
All right, Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to start off by giving all praises and blessings to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Racha HaKwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect, pushing this word in truth, diligence, vigilance, and sincerity. All right. Shalom to the women and the children who watch and who learn. And back in the 90s, all right. Back in the 90s, you had a lot of companies which left under a trade agreement, which left the U.S., all right, and they went overseas to places like China and certain places, and for pretty much cheaper labor, okay, for cheaper labor. And like this individual was saying, okay, you have, and the reason at that time period was because of all of the pollution this man has created, okay, from these industrialized factories, okay. Even here in the Midwest, this was a place that was heavy steel producers, all right. And this is where you get the car manufacturers up in Detroit and throughout the Midwest, Chicago, okay. And once they took those factories overseas, okay, a lot of these you see places like Detroit and Chicago that have pretty much caved in because those steel mills, all right, are not what they once were, okay, because now that it's done over in other countries. And so I don't know about his math. He's saying the factory, but what maybe he means the factory worker, okay, or maybe it could be but what he's saying, okay, is pretty much for every pair of shoes, okay, that would be $1 that goes to the factory, all right. But okay, so you got 2 pair, that's 10 pair, that's $10 that goes to the factory, all right. But all the rest of that money comes back to and goes back to a individual, all right, somewhere, some individual. And this is where you get your great divide, your powerful elite, okay. who had the ability to be able to, go and do this. All right. And that's why, we get on you Jakes. Okay. You're always crying that you're rich, especially, you Jakes, man. You've been, you've been, what's the hoodwinked. All right. uh, Thinking that, the little dollars that you get off of rap music and, sports and entertainment, thinking that that is money. See, that's why we say that you people, okay, you people that are in the sports entertainment industries, okay, you are basically you're step and fetch it. Okay, there was a comedy, okay, uh, back in the 20s, or called Step and Fetch It. All right, and that's you Negroes, okay. Your Floyd Mayweathers, they're basically step and fetch it. All right, the money that they're getting, they're not, when 50 Cent says that Floyd Mayweather can't read, okay, or he's illiterate, you know, if you have that much money, you can get into other industries if that's really your money, okay? And if it's not your money, but you are under the tutelage, all right, you are under the control of someone who's telling you what to do with your money, okay, well, then you can't get involved with those certain things. And even Michael Jordan, Nike, you know, he's in there, but he's not in there, okay? And so these people are put up, placed above us, all right, above you and I, all right, among among so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And, you see these people with money, and they're and that's why they're called the gatekeepers, all right? They're there as a distraction, okay? They're there as a distraction. And now you're looking at what they're doing, trying to do what they're doing, okay, what these distractions are doing, but you're not trying to do what the individual who owns a company like Nike or another company, okay, overseas somewhere. You're not going to have the ability to do that. And that's what globalization is. Now they're in Africa and in all of these third world countries, all right? So let me get a scripture. And now Trump, is talking about bringing those companies back to America, but like this individual said, um, when you bring those companies back to America, now you have an increase in pollution. As you see, China is heavily polluted. Okay, so I'm gonna jump down. This is just gonna be a quick in and out video. All right, and this is Second Ezra 16 and 21, and it says, "Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case." And this is the situation with these elites. All right, they think that they are in good case. All right, because guess what? No one is really neck to neck with them. No one is catching up. He just gave you, okay, the numbers. All right, $1 goes to the company. $49 goes to uh, the owner of that company. All right. So that's the ratio. And that's how much money that these individuals are getting. They go to these countries, they rob them of their resources. And that's another thing that we don't control. We don't have resources. All right. We don't have resources. We don't, the technology that we get to create uh, some of these fabrics and stuff that goes straight to these elites. It's sold to these elites. You have no access to it. Okay. You have no access to it. They're keeping you out of the web, all right, so to say. So it says, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So, and that's what we're seeing. Okay. Wars are breaking out. Okay. Famine is on the way. All right. And great confusion. All right. Because they have to keep you dumbed down so that you don't catch on to the game that's being played. All right. Republican, Democrat one time, then they're all the same. All right. They're all the same. It's all the same game that they're playing. All right. It says, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger, all right, shall the sword destroy. Okay, and remember in the last video, okay, uh, you know, I said that that the use of the guillotine, okay, is going to also be used for these jakes, who who start eating human flesh, okay, because it's going to come to a point to where Jake is going to eat and consume human flesh. All right. So they're going to need the guillotine to, because once a person starts, gets a taste for human flesh, you just got to put them down. All right. So those that escape hunger shall the sword destroy. All right. It says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung. All right. And there shall be no man to comfort them. All right. For the earth shall be wasted. Okay. The earth is going to be wasted. So these elites, they're going to lose power. Okay. Your money is going to be worthless. All right. And all in all, the earth is going to be in turmoil. It says, and the cities shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. Okay. So there's going to be a change in rulership. Okay. Ultimately. Okay. There's going to be a change in rulership. So, these are things, that we, that's coming. All right. That we are, seeing that's coming. Okay. That's in the near future. Okay. And so, the elect are not going to, they're not going to be, taken by surprise uh, when this happens. Okay. And when this ball gets to rolling, all right, which is it's rolling already, but once it comes to a head, all right. So with that being said, just a quick lesson on this video. I thought I'd bring it out and Lord willing, you were edified. You could build on it, let it play out.
Who is benefit
Till next time, shalom.
from the globalization? I don't know.